You see, something's going to happen.
What?
Something wonderful.
Hello friends, and thanks for stopping by my channel. Today we're going to get started with the MOEBIUS models, Discovery XD-1 from 2001 A Space Odyssey. This is the 1:350 scale. It's not the huge 1:144 scale version of this, which I originally wanted to get, but it's quite pricey. This here is not a cheap kit. In fact, it's probably one of the most expensive kits I've bought in a long time. It's smaller, but what can I say? I'm cheap. And even though someday, if it comes available and it's at a price I want to pay, I might get the big one too and build it. But for now, we're going to do this smaller one. This is my first MOEBIUS kit, and I'm really looking forward to building it. Now, one thing I'm not sure about yet is how I want to paint this kit. If I paint it just like it is here, it's grays and it's, shades and it's great and it looks awesome and it's depicted well from the first movie. However, what some people don't know is there was a second movie called 2010, The Year We Make Contact. Now, the first movie came out in 1968 and I didn't see it until probably the early 80s when my family got a VCR and we started renting movies, and this was one of the movies that we rented. And I enjoyed the movie. It was a little slow for me being a young kid. It was slow getting going. But eventually, when we got to space travel and all the great imagery that the movie depicts, it's an amazing film. It really is. However, later on, probably in the 90s, I actually realized, there was a second movie called 2010, The Year We Made Contact. So when I saw that movie, I was like, wow, that there was a whole different feel to that movie, a whole different flow. Not as cinematically beautiful as the original by any means, but still a really good movie that holds up well to today. Starred Roy Schneider, and I really liked that movie. And in that movie, it's 10 years after this one supposedly was filmed, so it's 2010. So the Discovery had been orbiting one of the moons called Io for about 10 years. And that's a very volcanic moon. And since it had been orbiting for 10 years, the ship was covered with sulfur from that moon. And it gave it kind of a reddish rust color look. And so I may, when we get to the painting part of this, I may end up painting this in as it was depicted in the 2010 The Year We Make Contact movie as opposed to the 2001. Let me know what you think in the comments, if you think I should keep it like this color or if I should go with the 2010 version. Just curious. I'm gonna do my own thing anyways, but I'd also like to know what you guys think. Do you prefer the 2001 A Space Odyssey movie, or do you like the 2010 Space Odyssey? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so getting started with this kit, I have to tell you, I've already started working on it. I was excited when I got it and I was ready to get working on it, so I did. Again, first MOEBIUS kit, I'm really impressed. The instructions are really well laid out, very clear, except for a couple points here where it's not like possibly sure where does this part go, but once you start setting the pieces in, it makes perfect sense. There are a lot of small parts on this kit, so be patient with it. I know I have to be. My eyes are not what they used to be, and these parts are very small. The parts where you install the cargo units along the spine, pay close attention to this, and I'll go over a little tip with you when we get to those here in a minute as to how to organize these, because it's kind of important. This is not it's a small kit, but it's pretty long. I don't remember, it's going to be about 16 or 17 inches long when it's complete, so it's going to look really nice. And it even gives you some painting instruction here, really nice instructions. So the kit itself, it feels really nice. This is a modern kit, and there's very little, if any, flash on the parts. They're all laid out well on the sprues. These are the one half of the spines that'll go the length of the kit. This is one, there's a lot of parts on here, but I've already taken some off for the cargo boxes, and there's more here. There's parts to the engines, and then a lot of spheres look a lot alike because of that. However, they are different, so pay attention and follow the instructions. The kit also comes with 3 stands, one at the front, one at the engines, and then one in the middle. I only have the 2 put together initially right here, so you can set it on a shelf and it'll look nice. I'm probably gonna suspend my kit from the ceiling, so I probably won't use the stands. It also comes with this long metal piece of heavy wire that will go the entire distance of the kit to give it a little more support. That's a nice addition for that. The kit also comes with some etched metal parts for the antennas. There they are there. And looking forward to trying those out. They are small, so it will take me some time. Okay, so the parts that I've built so far, I built the command module. It came out really nice. I will say it was a little tricky to get the 2 halves of the sphere together initially and lined up, because the way it is, it's if you start here and you glue this portion, this other side is going to kick out, or vice versa. So the way I did that was, this part's not on here yet, I just set the 2 spheres flat on my pad, used a little Tamiya super thin quick set, and just kind of spot welded, if you want to call it that, the one corner here to get it to hold. And then I moved up a little bit, did a little more here, a little more here, a little more here. Then when I got down to this half, I could line it up, tack it in place. And then once that's set for a little bit, I went in from the inside a little bit and put some normal Tamiya thin set, not the quick stuff, just the thin, and gave it, so it has some good strength, a nice good welding together of the parts. These little bay doors went in nice and easy. And as far as gaps, there was a couple places I had to fill in some gaps. And I used just some thinned down plastic putty. I just basically put it on with a brush, wiped it off with a wet Q-tip, let it dry a little bit, put a little more in, and just layered it until I got the seams nice and smooth and filled. And then for inside these bay doors here, there's actually some detail in there. There's little ridges. To clean the putty out, I just took a toothpick, and sharpened it. So if you take your Q-tip and you spin it in your fingers while you're rubbing it on your sanding stick, it'll give you a really nice pointed tip, and it won't damage the plastic, but you can go in here and you can pick out the excess putty and just clean it out, wipe it off, and once you prime that, you'll never know. I also installed the front port windshield, and I masked it off so I can go back later, and this area here will be black, and then we'll have a clear windshield there. Not that you're really going to see it in this scale, but yeah, this part went together after I got those initial parts together. Went together really nice, looks really nice. The other part is the engine module, and here again, small parts, so be patient. This is supposed to be fun, and I'm having fun, so I'm not in a rush really to get it done. The parts went together well. They're super detailed parts, really detailed. And I don't know if you can see that well in the video, but there were a couple areas where I had to do some filling. And again, I'm just using some thinned down plastic putty to fill in there and wipe it off. I don't want to fill it and then have to go back and try to sand, because I'm going to have a hard time not sanding any details off, or I'll have to go back and add the details. No, just use the putty, layer it on, wipe it off, and eventually you'll get a nice clean seam. All right. As for the tedious part of it are those storage units, those little cargo shells here along the spine. So as you can see in the instructions, it tells you how to assemble them. So you have a lot of them. Like there's 6 of these, 9 of these, 18 of these, etc. So you want to make sure you don't get them unless you're gonna assemble the pod and install it on the spine, assemble a pod and install it on the spine. You want to organize them. So what I did was I took some plastic cups and labeled them A, B, C, D, E. And as I build them, I put them in the cups. So they get together really well. Like I said, there's really no flash on these parts. Just trim them up. Make sure on the backs that you watch where you're cutting, so you don't actually cut the part. You just want to cut it loose from the sprue. And then also on some of the pieces, the sprue actually goes into the inside of the part, so you'll have to trim off a little bit in there and make sure you get those cleaned up when you put them together. All right, so that's the review of the kit so far. Now we're going to get into doing some building, some more of those storage modules, cargo modules, whatever you want to call them. We're going to start building those and get all those finished, and we'll be back. Okay, so here we're going to assemble some more of the cargo pods. These are going to be numbers 50 and 51. So we just start off with, we're going to pull our pieces off the sprue here. Okay, that one's right on the edge there. I'm going to be careful. I'm just going to cut that off here. There we go. So that one. That one. So basically what I'm doing is, in the instructions it shows which cargo pods you're assembling and then how many times you assemble it. There's 6 of these ones in this size. So, and there's a couple on each sprue. So we're just gonna keep building them. One thing, if you build this kit, you'll want to notice, I don't know if you can see this or not, but right here where the sprue is, the plastic, that has to come off. I wish this would focus better, but I start off by just nipping that on both sides. Sorry, get into camera here. Nipping that onto both sides. Then I take one of these little sanding sticks, just knock it down a little bit, both sides. And then these small sanding sticks are great for this because you can just line it up right there, give it a quick little, and it takes off the majority of it. Then you have a finer side, and just sand along that edge there, and there you go. And that little area there is gone. And then when we go to glue that together, the piece will go on quite nice. On the other side, kind of the same thing. It protrudes a little bit there. I really can't see it, but right here it protrudes into the edge a little bit. So we're going to nip that off. You want to be careful on these little tiny parts. You don't nip off the wrong thing. Okay, then we're going to take our rough side of the sandpaper. We're going to knock that high spot off. Same on the other side. Just clean it up a little bit with the finer side of this. Alright, and then those pieces, whoops, wrong way. Those pieces just fit together like so. So what I do is I take a little of my quick set, just put a dab on there, give it a second, turn around to the other side, another quick dab, then I set it aside, and I'll build another one. And then after I've done the quick set on these, I'll go back with some regular Tamiya cement and the thin but not quick drying, and I'll put a little dab on the seam just to give it a nice solid glue. So I'm going to go ahead and build some more of these, and we'll be back.
3 hours later.
Okay, well, I ain't gonna lie, that was pretty brutal getting all these done, but they are done. All of the cargo modules are done. So now I'm going to move on to the forward cargo module hull supports. So let's get that going here. Set these aside. All right, these are parts number 44 and 45. That's these. Okay, so I'm gonna clip these apart and clean them up off camera because it's kind of hard to do that with the camera in front of me. Okay, well, here we have all 3 of the spines completed, and I put them on the steel brace here, kind of just to make sure that they still fit on there even after the glue's on there. So yeah, I couldn't do this on camera because there's just not enough room with the camera here. I have to get in close to do this, but they needed quite a bit of cleanup. They don't go together super well. The way the molds go, it actually, if this is the part, instead of the molds just stopping here, they actually kind of go up here. So you have to snip it off, and then you have to deal with this part here on each one. And there's probably about 5 connection points on each one from the sprue. So those all have to be trimmed out, sanded, and then test fitted. And then basically I just, to put them together, started off at one end, put my clamp on, held that together, put the used the Tamiya quick set to just kind of get that started, and then just moved my way down the spine until I got all the way at the end and had them all glued, and then let that dry a few minutes. And with the Tamiya quick set, it really is quick. I'm pretty impressed with it, and it holds really well. So I may go back on later and put a little regular Tamiya on there, Tamiya cement on there, just to make sure that they're on there really good. And I think our next step is going to be I'm going to put the rest of the neck on the command module here. And then once the rest of the neck is done on the command module, it will be ready to be primed and be done. After that, I need to build the antenna unit, the main antenna array unit, which is this part right here that holds the antenna. I think I'm going to do that later. I think for today, I think I'm going to call this a wrap on this episode of the video. This is going to be a multi-part series, I guess, because it's too long in between. So I'll cut this one here and stay tuned for part 2, which will be coming up as soon as I get to it. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Click on the little bell so you get notified when we do upload our next video. And thanks for watching the end. I know this part's kind of not as so exciting. When we get to the painting, I'm going to try to set up a rig so I can actually film some painting as I go along and show you the tips and tricks for that. So thanks for watching and have a great day.